Hello and welcome along to the TABtouch preview of AFL Round 4. David Shortte and Digby Beacham with you. Well, diggers, it's a case of chocolates to boiled lollies last week. The humbugs were out, big style. What a tough week to find the winners, round 3.
No argument, Shorty. It was a train wreck, and here we are at round 4, hoping for a little bit better.
Let's hope that is the case. Let's get straight into it. Tonight, here locally, we see West Coast taking on Sydney at Domain Stadium. West Coast, well supported, $1.45 into $1.38 now. Sydney, a horror start to their season, zip 3, they're $2.75 out to $3.10.
No Tippett, no Naismith. There was a suggestion both play. Callum Sinclair leads the ruck for Sydney. You'd think West Coast, albeit on a 5-day break, get them. As we know, Shorty, they're very hard to beat at home.
They are indeed. They've got a really good record on their home deck, and accordingly they should get the chockies tonight, albeit Sydney zip 3, they wouldn't want to lose a fourth, so you'd think they'll have a real good crack tonight. On to Good Friday football for the first time. Looking forward to this tomorrow. North Melbourne doing battle with the Western Bulldogs at Etihad Stadium. 2:20 WA time it gets underway. North Melbourne, bit of money for your boys. Digby at the outside at $3.90 into $3.65. The Western Bulldogs, after their shock loss to Fremantle last week, $1.25 out to $1.28.
Haven't been horrible, the Kangaroos, but they're 0-3, and the Bulldogs probably haven't been flash. They're 2-1. So there's a gulf in class. You'd suspect the Bulldogs fight back this week, and I think they will, Shorty.
Yeah, I'm with you. Happy enough to stick with it. The Western Bulldogs to win the first of the Good Friday encounters. On to the Saturday action at the MCG. Fremantle hit the road to take on Melbourne. The D's $1.35 and firm. Fremantle $3.20 into $3.15. I guess the saving grace for Freo here is they're coming off a win, and Melbourne, no Maxi Gawn, no Jordan Lewis, no Jesse Hogan. If you're going to strike Melbourne and leave themselves the door open a touch, this is probably the time for Freo to run into them.
Yeah, agree, Shorty. And, doubts on Bernie Vince with that toe injury as well. But, look, Melbourne moved the footy really swiftly, and they like playing at the MCG. Until Fremantle do that, what we saw last week on a regular basis, I think I'm going for the Demons.
Yeah, I'm with you. While you can make a case for Freo as the outsider, you just want to see that consistency before you can probably tip into them. On to the next of the games. It is on Saturday at 2:36 WA time. This bounce down occurs. It's at Canberra. The GWS Giants taking on Port Adelaide. For the Giants, $1.33 to $1.32. Port Adelaide $3.30 out to $3.40. Despite not necessarily getting their season off to a flyer, the Giants, they're really starting to get a bit of momentum over the last couple of weeks. Yeah,
they are, Shorty, and you're right, they haven't hit full flight yet, but their best is still very, very good, and if they're anywhere near that, I think they can get over the top of Port Adelaide, who'll miss Paddy Ryder.
Big time, no doubt about that. So the Giants for both of us there. On to the next fixture. Etihad Stadium, 5:26 on Saturday night. Carlton doing battle with at Gold Coast. The Blues $2.15 and firm. Gold Coast $1.70 and firm.
Found this game really hard to assess. I've actually gone Carlton, and I've taken the outside there with them. I just think Gold Coast were really good, no doubting that. They kicked 10 goals in a quarter against Hawthorn, but their record at Etihad isn't great. I think Carlton's form lines are okay, so I'll go the Blues in a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, difficult game. I'm going the other way here with Gold Coast. Just that nearly 15-goal win over Hawthorn last week impressed me. If they front up and play similar footy to that again, I think they probably win, but they go a bit like Freo. I want to see it again before I'm tipping in financially with all that much confidence, Digby. The final game on Saturday, Adelaide play host to Essendon at Adelaide Oval. The Crows $1.21 into $1.15. They're clearly the shortest price favourite this weekend. Doing battle with the Bombrays, who are $4.40 out to $5.50.
Crows, all over the Crows. What we're seeing is high-class football. They afforded Port Adelaide a start and gunned them down. They win.
They do. They're flying for me at the moment. I think Adelaide are the form side of the competition. They've been outstanding first 3 rounds, and I don't think the Bombers will have enough firepower to get anywhere near Adelaide. I think they'll win and win really well there on Saturday night.
Yeah, look, they'll miss McGovern because there's no Jenkins and him, but that forward line is so dynamic and their midfield's outstanding. Contested ball numbers are great. I think they're a very, very good football side.
Yeah, I'm with you. We move on to the Sunday action where Collingwood do battle with St Kilda. $2 into $1.85. The Black and Whites, a lot of people impressed with that win over Sydney on the road last week. St Kilda $1.80 out to $1.95. Diggs, what are you thinking here? I thought this was a pretty tricky encounter.
Agree, Shorty. I've actually lent to St Kilda. I'm thinking that Armitage and Jack Stephen both play, and I think if you throw them into that midfield, which is up and about a little bit, young Seb Ross is in good form. St Kilda play Etihad well. I've just lent to the Saints, but on the proviso Armitage and Stephen come back.
Yeah, and I guess it's an interesting game. I've gone the other way, but what do you do with Collingwood? The frustrating side, fortnight ago here on this program, I tipped a man by the name of Alex Fasolo to kick the first most. The guy will go on a tear. He kicked 3 points and was just dead set MIA. Last week, fronts up and shreds the game to pieces, and you go, well, I'm a week out, but thanks for that, Alex, anyway, for letting me know that you were going to be a week out there, champion.
I did think of you last week when he was going on the tear in that first quarter at the SCG.
My goodness, it could be a frustrating caper, the punt, Digby. Nonetheless, I'm going to stick with the Pies, and Alex, if you tuned in, please be the barometer and do the job again for us this time around. It's a really tricky game, though. St Kilda, Nick Riewoldt, still an absolute out-and-out champ for them. He was big last week in their victory, and he's a key player again in this game. We move on to the other Sunday clash. It's Brisbane up against Richmond. The Lions here at $3 and firm. The Tigers $1.38 and firm. Richmond, could they be 4-zip?
If you told me they would be 4-zip at the start of the season, Shorty, I would have had you committed. I wouldn't have thought there was any chance at all that could occur, but now they're odds on to do that, and I think they will.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they've got a bit on Brisbane, who showed glimpses, but gee, they just drop away in games. That's been the case so far this season. Even with big head starts, they just fell in against the Gold Coast early, and they've been in games, but just don't have the seniority to finish games off at the moment. And finishing off with Monday football, Hawthorn taking on Geelong. In recent years, these games have been epic. The way the Hawks are going at the moment, though, I'm just really interested to see how they respond. They're $2.70 out to $2.90. The Cats have been popular, $1.46 into $1.42.
We need to see a pulse. We need to actually see a baseline from Hawthorn, because we haven't seen it, and we certainly didn't see it last Sunday. But the way that Geelong are going and the way that they score, I can't see Hawthorn keeping up with them. So the Cats for mine, Shorty, I think they start 4-0 as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. So the Cats to continue on their good form, and that big man up front, Tommy Hawkins, to continue on that really good form. We mentioned last week he was in a bit of nick, and he got the job done for us with the 5 majors. So he's a man for Hawthorn to stop there on Monday. In recap, those tips, Digby and I are both going with West Coast. We're both going with the Western Bulldogs. Melbourne, GWS. We have differing opinions on the Gold Coast. Carlton came on going with the Suns. Diggs with the Blues, both going with Adelaide. In the Collingwood St Kilda game, I'm going with the Black and Whites. Diggers with the Saints. Richmond for the pair of us, and Geelong for the pair of us. Digby, let's get into your multi for this week, and it's nice and juicy, this one.
Yeah, it is. It's been hard work thus far, Shorty, to be fair, but I've actually gone West Coast tonight under 39.5, into the Western Bulldogs tomorrow afternoon on Good Friday into minus 39.5 also, and Richmond at the same split as well, under 39.5. That's paying $9.69, and I'm actually, silly as it sounds, reasonably confident.
Yeah, I like it, Diggs. I like it. All right, so West Coast, Western Bulldogs and Richmond all under 40. If that happens, 9.69's tasty stuff. I'm going to try and just get on the board and keep it simple with West Coast to win, Western Bulldogs to win, Adelaide to win, and the Giants to win. So sticking with the 4 sides that I think are most likely to win this weekend, and that's 266. So pays for a couple of coldies over the Easter break if it happens to arrive. Let's get into your novelty bet for this week, Diggs.
Well, I'll go tonight's game, Shorty, so I can have something for the long weekend, and that is Matt Priddis to get the most handballs at $3.50. I suspect the game will be pretty tight, and Matt Priddis has got the best hands in the business, so I'll go that way.
All right, fair enough. And look, after a result with a novelty last week, I'm going to go a little wide. First goal scorers are never easy to get, but one man that has got a great knack of just bobbing up and kicking first goals for fun is Josh Kennedy at West Coast. He stands out. He leads up hard at the football. I'm hoping that tonight, I can just see it now, centre clearance, Sam Mitchell goes bang, inside forward 50. Kennedy takes the grab up front, 40 out, goes bang, converts, and the $7 is looking great at that very point in time. So go Josh Kennedy at the $7. First goal tonight with the West Coast Sydney game. Should be a beauty. Digby, you have a wonderful Easter.
Likewise, and to everyone out there as well.
No doubt about that. And don't forget, for the final time, it is round 4, and you've still got your last opportunity this weekend to cash in on that TABtouch special on 2 games. Tonight's game, West Coast Sydney, and the final game, Hawthorn Geelong. If your side scores 60 points or more but lose, it's money back up to $50. It's for all TABtouch account holders. Hope everybody tuned in has used that to their advantage over the first 4 rounds. They've given away more than $1.7 million back to the punters, Diggs.
That was a very good offer, and it's been well received.
It certainly has, and we're still employed, which is great. Thanks very much for your company. Look forward to catching up. AFL Round 5 right here next week.